Hello everyone, this is I, Soul17 here, and let me get through this like usual. I did not own this, I did not own these pictures and non-pay, made the thumbnail and non-pay video. Okay, so we're gonna make this a somewhat long, very long, probably 2 hours maybe. What if? Because this is the final part. Maybe the final part. I don't know yet. But yes, this is the final part to this what if series, because there's only 24 episodes. It wasn't really that long. I tried to make it longer, but hey, I think I did a pretty good job, right? Bringing Zuko into Kami got killed. Some things are gonna happen and change in this, final fight, with the Empire. I'm not gonna explain much because I just want to get into it right away. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to make this the final part in this series, and I do hope you all enjoy it because I know I sure had some fun. We all know Kami and Chromie would have fought each other, but I don't think they would, and you'll find out why. So, anyways, let's get into this what if. All right. So this is what if Zuko was isekai, part 7. So basically, we last left off when Zuko fell asleep, and he's just waking up. They're still on the way to the Empire, well, the capital, Empire. Sorry, I'm getting those confused, but anyways, they're still on the way to the capital, and he's like, did I fall asleep? Which then the Emperor says, yes, you did. You've been out all night, actually. So, how'd you sleep? He's like, slept actually pretty well. So, what are you guys doing anyways? He's like, oh, everyone's basically gathering up some materials, some wood for the fire and such. He's like, wait, you said I've been asleep for a day. He goes, yes, when we were leaving that castle, it was only like near nighttime. Now it is at nighttime. So he was like, shit. I've been asleep for actually a whole day. Alright. Well, let me just get up and gather some whatever we need. Just, oh, like what? He was like, meat, vegetables. We were like, no worries. Me and Azef, went out and got some. But she just looks at the Emperor. He's like, wait, you basically learned hunting from Azef? She goes, mm-hmm. I mean, she was saying I need to learn how to do things on my own. And, well, by you saying I need to become independent, I think she mentioned, she was right, and so were you. So basically we already hunted some deers, and she told me everything she knows about hunting. And Isuku just looks at him and then chuckles like, you really grew up for just being, just, yeah, it's all thanks to you, Zuko. Really. And maybe he looks down and clenches his fist. He goes like, I have something to say to you real quick about everyone. Which, he was like, huh? So, he says, come on out of the wagon. I was only here just to try to wake you up. He's like, oh, okay. So basically, the Emperor and Zuko get out of the wagon. And so he sees everyone's at, the campfire, laughing and enjoying themselves, basically, talking and making jokes. And the Emperor goes like, alright, everyone, I just came up with this, maybe a messed up idea, but, okay, by the way, I don't know if the minister actually did this, but in my what if, he does, so. Okay, so anyways, what happens is that when everyone's looking at him, they all see Izuku, waves with, hey, you're awake! Man, you had me worried there. He's like, yeah, sorry, it's just, I don't know why, I just was really tired. Diablo, basically, Dragon says, Izuku, if you're wondering why, then I can explain. He was like, sure, can you please make it quick? He's like, yes, but actually, all of us will come from the shadows. He was like, wait, you mean you'll, as in all of a sudden, basically 3 different beasts come from the shadows, which was all around them. Basically, you see the eyes and such, everyone's like on guard, as in, basically, one flies in and it looks like a little reptile, basically with feather wings, with horns, basically. One basically just like comes from the ground and basically just stays there, and another one just comes over in like a little dog form with 3 heads. And like SF goes like, so these are the forms that they go by. He was like, oh no, they go by a lot bigger. It's just for this case they're going small. Which then goes, when Dragon, aka Diablo, goes, yes, he is right. But anyways, allows to explain why Izuku was tired. Which then basically Leviathan, aka Laloom, says, it's because of all three of us combined, eat away a lot of his energy. And then basically Helium was like, yes. And it's only during this combination state that it would. I mean, he basically even has a Curcio, a part of him, that increased his, exhaustion. And then the Diablo, aka Dragon, goes, but after basically our Imperial arms combined with each other, he will not be tired anymore. It's just a one-time thing. And it was a mental strain on his mind, too. So, we apologize for that. Which, everyone was just saying, no, it's fine. I mean, as long as he's alive and all. As that's just saying, so, you are the 3 legendary S-class, 3 S-class danger beasts. Which they not. So, they all look at the king, the emperor, and they ask, please, continue. Which, Dragon says, and he goes, right. So, the thing is, you know how my parents died, and it was just ruled as assassination or killing? No one really knows for sure besides some guards and the minister, which Izuku's just looked at him with a raised eyebrow. And he goes, but I have a feeling now that I rethink on everything. If I was being used as a puppet, they needed my father and mother out of the way. So the minister had them killed or poisoned. Which that just shocks everyone, which I think Wave will be like, what do you mean? Why would he do that? I mean, I know he's evil, but he can't be that evil. Which Zuko just says, no, he is. If he is the great evil, I need to get rid for this land to be truly in peace. Then he is evil. So, that's how he got you into rule. Clever bastard. But it doesn't matter. He's gonna die either way. Which, Cerberus, Leviathan, and Dragon just says, no matter what. So, this goes like, well, that would explain how you became, the Emperor at a young age. This is getting quite interesting. So, then basically he looks at Kuromi. Izuku looks at Kuromi. He was like, oh, Kuromi, how are you feeling? Is anything... She goes, nope, no side effects. I mean, I still eat my snacks, but the medicine is supposed to help me. He's like, but you just still eat them? She goes, mm-hmm. He goes, well, that's good. So, about you and Akami, are you going to... She goes, try to kill one another? No, actually. Which he does look at her with, really? And he asks why. He goes, well, how can I say this? There's a reason why we don't want to, and we can both agree on that. Which Zuko was like, huh. Really? That's glad. It's good to see you two get along so well. And then he just smiles. Which, Komi does look away real quick, and she goes innocent, too innocent somehow. And Esdeath is just, being Esdeath. Blushes and stuff. And then she goes and hugs him. And he goes, anyways, we better make back to the capital in this month. Lobach is going to probably try to infiltrate the palace. Hopefully nothing bad happens. So, basically, they travel along. They get Esdeath and, Kuromi get close to Izuku, and the Emperor here talks to Izuku about, how to improve himself and such. And Izuku does start training him in hand-to-hand combat, at least. But the thing is, Akame comes in and tells, well, that, basically comes in out of nowhere during her training. Well, I mean, not hit her. I mean, his training session with the Emperor, basically. As he goes, Akame, what's wrong? Then she says, Lobak, he's gonna enter the palace tomorrow. He's like, shit, we're not even near the capital yet. Well, she goes, I know. Is there any way you can? He goes, probably, but it's gonna be probably dangerous. When she goes, what do you mean? He's like, you know how I can travel like maybe 2 people plus myself into the shadow realm? She goes, yeah. Well, maybe I can use Dragon's realm basically to go fly as fast as I can, get there to the Empire and before tonight. If I'm gonna help Lobach, then it's better off I'm there. Which she goes, I know. And then he just looks at her and he's like, come on, don't worry. You know I'm keeping him safe. And besides, he does go over and well, he just says, go spend time with your sister. And thank you again for not wanting to kill one another. And, he's really close, so her face gets a little bit red, and she goes, no problem. So basically, they go, and then he goes, Dragon, how good are we on, well, the percentage? She goes, well, since this has been a couple of weeks. I mean, I did say it was like the travel along, like it's been a couple of weeks and such, sort of thing. So he was like, our percentage is pretty good. You basically control the weather itself. He goes, wait, but your wings are supposed to emanate moonlight and use the feathers that I can control, right? He goes, yes, but my natural abilities are also controlling the weather. You can basically summon rain, thunder, and ice from out of thin air. Well, I mean, the clouds, basically summon them, and then you can use it to your advantage. He was like, so, weather manipulation, interesting. This is going to be very interesting. So, basically, Akami talks to her sister, and, Esda, if anyone asks what's wrong, so she explains it, and Emperor goes like, thank good. Basically, I mean, he was there, but he just still wanted to say that in front of everyone, so Izuku goes over to them. He was like, everyone, this may sound a little bit crazy, but I need you all to get into the wagon. Well, cart. I mean, get into the cart, wagon, whatever. As everyone's like, huh? He goes, I'm gonna do something really stupid and dangerous, probably. So I need you all to trust me. So basically, as everyone just looks at each other, they all nod. Seru just saying, brother, what's he gonna do? He's like, well, we're about to go into the Shadow Realm, where basically, if I use Dragon's area, it's gonna be a lot more quicker. She goes, huh? What do you mean? He's like, well, it doesn't matter where I go with with the Shadow Realms. Basically, I can walk through like a shadow from a tree with Cerberus. I can basically then go into the ground with Leviathan. But in the sky, it does not matter where I am with Dragon. So, that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna fly all the way there. But, alright everyone, I gotta pause real quick. Okay, sorry about that everyone, just my parents got home. So, I'm in my room right now. Anyway, so basically, like I said, everyone nods, and they all get in the wagon, cart. So, yeah, no, actually it would be a wagon. I don't know why I thought I was wrong. Anyways, so, as everyone does get in, they, basically it's like, how can I say this? They were like in the mid-afternoon-ish, so, well, Izuku then sprouts out the wings off his back, and he's like, this is the first time I've ever gone through this area. Well, this basically Shadow Realm. It may be different from anything you'll see, but just remember this. Everything will not hurt you. It's like our world, but just more, I guess, shadow-like. Which, as actually just says, I believe in you, so don't worry. I mean, all of us do. Which she's like, good. So anyways, all of a sudden, Leviathan, the gloves come on, gauntlets come on, and strings wrap around it, and even, chains and such. The horse, basically, has the chain wrapped around. He's like, "All right, then, here we go." As he's using float, he thought he was gonna need to actually. He was about to start to use float, but then all of a sudden he realizes he's able to lift up the wagon plus them plus the horse all at once. He's like, "Wow, this is the first time I'm using this, so I thought I was having trouble." Which Dragon says, "No, the winds are able to carry more than just enough, more than basically a wagon and people in it." More like near a castle, which Izuku's like, awesome. So basically, he starts flying upwards, and then hold on, my dog just hurt herself. Oh my god, I feel okay. Anyway, so as like I was saying, Izuku then starts flying, and then basically all of a sudden, like a rift opens. It looks like, and Izuku's like, "All right, then, here we go." As basically everyone's thinking, what's gonna be like? Akami doesn't know what it looks like either, so when they basically go into the Shadow Realm, they can see it. It's exactly like their world, but different. But all of a sudden, they basically see Izuku, he's like covered in complete shadows. And it's very weird. To them, that is. And they see the dragon right next to him. He's like, "Alright then, fly full speed. Don't hold back." He's like, "Alright." So he does fly at full speed. In about an hour or so of flying, he gets to the capital. Well, actually, it would just take like 45 minutes. Actually, near an hour. But he lands outside the gates, basically a little bit far away so they won't see him, doing this. And when he gets down and such, he basically puts the wings away and gets in the wagon, and he's like, "All right, that's I didn't expect it to be that fast." Which everyone's just looking at him, was like, "How powerful are you now?" He's like, "I don't know, but call me. Tell Lobach I'll be here very soon. Be at the castle." Just right. So basically, they are starting. They basically are getting back to the capital. I mean, they get back to the castle, and the minister's glad to see them, and they ask what happened, and basically the emperor says, "When we got there, the castle was in ruins, and there was a note saying that they sealed away the Imperial arms deep within the mountainsides where danger beasts were. They were basically double S rank danger beasts, so we couldn't get it." Which he's like, "I see. But do not worry, Your Majesty. You still have your own Imperial arms, but a second one would have been useful." He's like, "Yes, I know. Let me see what you made the progress with everything." As he walks past the minister's just thinking, his eyes, they look different. They look like there's hope for this kingdom. I mean, of course there's my help, but what is this other hope? So, he goes with the Emperor and such, and yeah. And so, Izuku makes plans with Esdef and everything, along with, Jaeger, on what's gonna happen. Anything that could happen. Even him being captured and gonna be executed. Basically, they all look at him like, "Why would you plan for that?" He goes like, "Or better yet, to then make the ministers be afraid of what's coming. I want him to know how strong I am, how truly powerful I am compared to him and this kingdom. Understand that." Which everyone does. He goes, "I don't want to reveal myself as being a traitor. It's one in their eyes. But if I need to, I'll do it at the right time." Which, as Dev's saying, "I know you're strong, but don't forget about General..." Hold on. Alright, so basically I meant to say Great General Budo, she says. She's like, "The only one to become a great general, huh? By the Emperor himself, right?" She goes, "Mm-hmm. This will be quite interesting." "Alright. Well, I better get some rest for tomorrow. For anything, alright?" They all nod. Esdef and him walk back to their room and such. Chromie, goes to her room. And, we go just to Izuku and Esdef. She goes, "Izuku, are you sure about this? You're ready to be captured?" He goes, "No, but if it means to show that minister how much of a danger I am, I'm gonna have to kill Great General Budo. That's for damn sure. I can revive him afterwards. But he may be different. Which he was, what do you mean? He's like, he'll see what his actions has cost him. Everything basically, oh yeah, hold on, I'm gonna just pause because my parents are talking loud. Alright, so they basically quieted down a little bit. So anyways, that's what I was saying. I mean, he basically says, it's against the rules of life and death. But he basically will see if he went to heaven or hell, so to speak. But it doesn't really matter. All depends on how he acts. Just right. So basically, she just hugs him. He's like, Steph, can we just not talk? Just cuddle and fall asleep? He's like, fine, I understand. After this may be the last time. She does nod. And so, while Zuko's, drifting off to sleep, he can kind of, tell she's crying. So, even Kuromi's kind of crying because she knows what's going to happen. So anyways, Kami, told Lobak that Zuko's back, and he's like, yes! So, anyways, Zuko, and as everyone, Zuko falls, oversleeps. Lobak is doing everything they would do in the anime. But the thing is, Budo, Great General Budo is doing his thing along with a certain person, Cyro, basically the minister's son, the one that would teleport. So basically, Izuku overslept, and he wakes up to the sound of commotion. Izuku gets goes like, "What the?" So basically, he runs over to the balcony. He sees, Great General Budo fighting Loba, and he goes, "Shit!" So he jumps over the balcony when Asdef, says, "Izuku, you," and she just sees he's ready, get into what he needs to do. So Izuku's basically running down, activates One for All, goes 50%. And dashes towards the battlefield while basically yelling. Well, actually, why not? Well, basically, he does land right between Great General Budo and Lubak. He's like, "Sorry, I'm late." She's like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "Overslept." It's like, really? You know how much danger I was in? I had some chick that died, just killed me. Well, nearly killed me. He's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, we'll talk about this later, man. Just, I don't know. So, basically, Great General Blue is like, huh? Who are you? He's like, doesn't really matter. But, I'm here to end this little fight. He's like, you two seem like you know each other. Doesn't matter. You both will die here. Well, then, the minister's son, Cyroy, whatever. I don't really care about him because he wasn't really that important to me. So, he's like, no, I want to have my fun. You take care of the green hair kid, I'll take care of the one with the goggles, okay? He's like, whatever you want. He's like, thank you, uncle. So, basically, the fight with Lubak and this one, the minister's son, goes as in canon, but meanwhile, he's like, so Zuko, looks at him, he's like, so, I heard about you from not from the minister, and from the emperor. Why are you helping out Night Raid? He's like, doesn't matter. Actually, I think it does to a guy like you. You always have to have a sense of purpose, and your justices are blinding you to what's happening. Or you really just care about killing innocent lives. He's like, what needs to be done needs to be done. He was like, yeah. Anyways, basically, he's still in one, has 50% activated. He, dials it down to at least 35. He was like, I have to see what this guy's strength is. So, Izuku rushed towards him as basically Great General Budo, strikes Izuku and dodge up, punches him. He gets, Budo gets, sliding on the ground quite a bit. He's like, huh, you have a lot of power in you, power in those punches. He goes, thanks. I'm not even going all out. Which, he's like, I see. and show me what you're made of. And so that fight continues on for about 10 minutes until he asks, what is your name? He's like, Zuku Midoriya. Don't ever forget it. Which then he thinks just like about talk to me. So, but he goes like, then when he's about to use his, unlit, like his basically his trump card, he goes like, hold up. Since we're alone and all, I have a suggestion. He was like, huh? He goes, it all depends on your, well, if you want to live or not, and still protect the Emperor. I mean, that's what you keep spouting out in the Empire. He's like, which he's like, I don't have to. He's like, his life is on the line, you know. Which, he goes, what? The Emperor's. Basically he lets down his guard for a little bit. He's like, alright, then speak. He's like, so, it all depends if you agree on this. We had to take down the minister, but I want to make him basically see what's coming for him. How much of a threat I am. He goes, why? He goes, that guy is evil. Pure and utter evil. If you basically side with him, I have no choice but to cut you down to shreds. But if you side with the Emperor and you swore protection of him, then you're on our side. He goes, what? I'm here to try to save the Emperor from getting his head chopped off. He's just a kid. He's too young. And people want him dead? It's all because of the minister's fault. He basically will use him as a scapegoat so he can live somewhere else with the life of luxury. And, while the kid is dead and all. Which, Great General Budo is like, I know that. He goes, did you swear your loyalty to, the Emperor's parents before? He goes, yes, but they were dead while I was on a mission. He goes, oh, and I guess you don't know. He goes, huh? This is a theory which the Emperor himself made. The minister killed his own parents just so he can use his inexperience and his age to his advantage to rule the kingdom from the shadows. Which he's then basically Great General Budo is processing this, and he realized that is treason. He was like, but no one knew because he made it look like it was just someone else who did it, or it was an accident. Does not matter. Which he goes, so you're trying to protect the Emperor and make sure the guy who needs to die dies. Yeah. Are you with me or against me? Which he just laughs about it. Izuku's kind of confused. He was like, to know anything about you would have been, impossible until now. Or just by your actions alone and seeing that determination in your eye, I can see that you are truly a kind person. And you're being 100% serious with no lies. As of now, we have an alliance. If you break that alliance and try to kill his the Emperor, I will basically kill you on sight. He goes, right. But we have to make this fight convincing. So, I bet my friend Lobach is about to die soon, so I'm gonna have to save him. After that, you basically are gonna, help me. Alright? He's like, what do you mean? I'm gonna pretend to get captured. Basically be knocked out by your trump card. And then, will put me in prison. Basically, I need to be executed in front of a crowd. And Esdef will have to, be the one to try to execute me. Understand? He goes, yes. I don't anything to say, His Majesty. It's like, good. Now, right about now. And basically he looks up as he sees Lobach falling. He goes, see ya. As Zuko runs towards the direction of a tree, jumps on it, but then it jumps off. Basically, when Lobach's saying goodbye to, his Imperial arms, I think String Cross, or Cross String, basically, and then he's about to say goodbye to, Najida, basically the boss, saying he can't go any longer. He basically feels someone catches him, and, he goes like, Izuku! He's like, man, just in time, didn't I? Which then, well, how does I say this? They're still in midair, so when they land, it's kind of a little bit away from where the tree line and everything was, and he basically Zuko lands and stuff and slides. He was like, "But I'm just dead of weight." He goes, "No, you're not. All for one. Wait, no, for one for all. 50% vocali. Now, Leviathan strengths, healing aura." As it just wraps along Lobach and starts healing him instantly, and he goes, "Cerberus, Lobach. I mean, no, not Cerberus, Lobach. I mean, Cerberus, Leviathan. Get him out of here. Bring him back to the base. As quickly as you can." And you're like, "Right. As you wish, Zuko." Which always, grabs him. He's like, "What do you mean? Come on." He goes, "Nuh-uh. Don't worry. Tell Night Raid I won't basically need a saving. I'll get out of there pretty easily. Got it? Are you crazy or something?" He goes, "I'm trying to save this kingdom. And I'll do whatever it takes, right? That's what the Rebellion Night Raid will do." So he basically has, well, let go of him and then he gets dragged into the shadows. As basically guards come in, the great General Budo, and there's a body that falls next to him. It's basically the emperor, the minister's, I mean not the emperor's, the minister's kid, Cyroy, I guess you can call him now, and he's like, "You helped Night Raid escape." He goes, "I'm just doing what's right." So, and basically he's being charged, basically having one for all charging up. It's like, "Come at me then, all of you!" Which all the men are about to rush over or fire at Zuko, as Great General Budo says, "No, I'll handle him." As Def and everyone from Jaeger sees this, seeing it as Def just and Kuromi think just be safe as Zuko, and so Great General Budo uses his trump card, and Izuku runs towards it. But even though at this speed, it basically hits Izuku, and basically you can say lightning shuts down or upwards, as Izuku does scream out in pain. If you really think that, then yeah, I mean technically it is electrifying him, but he doesn't know this, so he thinks he's feeling that pain, but technically he won't. He's not really. So, and then he pretends to be knocked out. So he tells the minister what happened to, Great General Budo tells the minister what happened to his kid. He basically does exactly the same thing at Canon, and then he asks for execution. He says how he's basically down there in the base, the dungeon. So, yeah. Lubach told Night Raid this. Akami's just like thinking, what is he thinking? Just says, what is he thinking? Mai says, isn't he an idiot? And Susanoo just says, not really. If he cannot be pierced by any weapon, then freezing him or electrifying could harm him. But what happens is his new pair of arms prevents him from ever getting hurt by the elements. He may have known that, or he just did this so he can get close to the minister to kill him. Which, then, Najida looks at Lubach and saying, "Are you alright?" She asks him, he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But he just says, but he might want to bring fear, Lubach says. He wants him to know what's coming for him. Besides, if the Emperor's on our side then, and the minister doesn't know this is the only way for him not to get suspicion of him. Which Nejida says, but it may also have, suspicion anyways. Which, Leona says, yeah, it's a double-edged sword, it's a big gamble, but knowing Izuku, he's probably going to do something really stupid. So, basically, Chelsea says, so, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna have the Revolution Army come in? Or, she goes, I don't know. But, basically, the leaders of the Revolution Army say a message to the Emperor himself. So, this would be quite interesting to see what happens. So basically, while Zuko's in the dungeon, Great General Budo comes over to him and he goes, so, what is it that you plan? He goes, let me guess. Esdef is the one who's going to execute me, right? He goes, yes. Good. I need you to try to stop me. I basically control the weather, so I just found out something pretty interesting. He goes, huh? My Imperial arms. basically, since I have all of them, it's kind of difficult for me to be hurt at all. I have more resistance than anything. Turns out that all that lightning you did to me only gave me a slight tickle. I thought it was actually gonna hurt. I actually feel pretty good. But she goes, "You're one crazy kid, but all right. If I defeat you, the minister is gonna be more freaked out and try to have a plan. Talk to his emperor." And he goes, basically all of a sudden he hears the emperor's voice. He goes, "No need, Izuku." Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. What's up? He goes, "The rebellion is on the way. Basically, I informed them that Esdef would have to kill some of their men, and because we had to have the minister not to know, which they are talking to their men right now. Meanwhile, though, with the rebellion, yes, that's what they are doing. They're informing that the emperor's on their side. It's the minister who's being all corrupted, and some men will have to die to make it look like, Esdef and her team and everything's not like going against the empire, which the minister then will be easy to kill. Some men volunteer to go fight. Everyone who basically is fighting Esdef and dies to her, basically in that fight where the guy who has the double blades that turn to an axe, basically, all that group, they basically volunteered to be sacrifices, just to die, which everyone was shocked by, as the rebellion says, "We thank you for your cause. You will be remembered," which they all not. So, basically, though, meanwhile, we go back to Izuku. He's like, "So, what's gonna happen?" He goes, "The rebellion's making a faster break to the empire, to the capital as we speak. We're gonna end this by, after your execution, the day after." He's like, "My so-called execution. Remember, I gotta put on a good show. So, sorry if it seems like I'm being a little bit too cocky or a jerk." He's like, "I don't mind it, Izuku. You need to do what you need to do." He's like, "Right." And Budo, he goes, "Huh? Look out for him while I'm gone. There's gonna be tutors from Night Raid are gonna teach him, including Nenjida." And, Bulat, which his eyes widen, he goes, "With them two teaching him everything, I have no problems that they'll be guarding him." And then he goes, "Yes, and Night Raid will be a part of our assassination teams on anyone who tries to take over the Empire, in or out. Basically, eliminating corruption. We cannot allow anyone like not the great minister, more like the shit minister, ever come about again." Which Asuka chuckles at that. He goes, "Oh god, I teach you. I guess I accidentally taught you some curse words." Which, he goes, it only says as it is. Anyways, hope you get back to Night Raid. They'll need your help. He goes, "Right." So, after that, basically Wubu goes to the execution. Everything's going like can, as if, basically slice his shirt, which the minister and, great General Budo can actually see. That Deku has a lot of scars, including a lot of people. They're kind of shocked. And, as if is not, sort of. She kind of already knows about these from his memories and such. And, still seeing them kind of does hurt her, and in her mind. She does ask how much scars did he pain he go through. So she goes, she goes, "If you really are strong enough, show me your spirit." As when she tries to stab Izuku on the side, which the minister says, "This is gonna be an enjoyable show." As in, all of a sudden, when her blade hits Izuku's skin, it breaks. Which her eyes, she's pretending to be shocked along with everyone else. Everyone else is shocked. Budo is too shocked because he never expected this. He was told by, Esdef and the Emperor himself that he will not be killed or pierced by her blade. But he says, "How can a man not be pierced?" And then the minister was like, "What? How did it not?" And then he just hears Izuku laugh, and he goes like, "You actually think that would hurt me, Esdef? Oh, did I forget to mention, I can't be killed by normal weapons or means." And then he basically breaks out of the holding, flips over, and basically The emperor, or the minister, was wondering the whole entire time what happened to his imperial arms. Basically, he never figured it out. They don't know, but basically, the emperor said that the imperial arms he has seemed to have merged with Izuku, which was shocking. So he was like, "Attention, everyone!" While Izuku was basically on his basically, the cross that he was about to be executed. He's just sitting. Well, actually, he's just standing on like the right side of it. He was like, "Attention, everyone! Is this how you basically enjoy good execution? You don't even know what I've done. All you know is I'm a traitor to the capital. How am I a traitor when I was trying to save someone's life from dying? One life, even if they are a traitor, does not deserve to be killed or executed. They deserve time, but execution is way too simple. Let them live the rest of their lives out in, well, fear or disgrace is better, I think. But anyway, he says, then he jumps off. He was like, "Come at me, as death." As all of a sudden, a sword shoots out from the shadows. He grabs it. Basically, it's the Indril sword. Idril. He goes, "Let's put on a good show." So she basically makes an ice weapon as she goes, "I'll kill you no matter what, Zuko." He goes, "Try me." So basically, they get into a clash, and basically, it's kind of like how you can see multiple blades are basically multiple strikes are being made, so it looks like a whole bunch of blades are happening all at once, faster than I can see. Which the minister was like, "What?" As then he goes, "Come on, show me what you're made of." As he does jump in the air when she tried to like strike him, his legs, he jumps up and kicks her basically in the side of her arm, and sends her basically flying into a wall. And hold on. As when Esdev gets up, she's thinking, I know he's probably holding back, but still that hurts. And then basically, Great General Budo says, "Esdev, that's enough. I'll handle him." And he just jumps down and he was like, "Sorry, but I won't be holding back no more." He goes, "Alright then. Then show me what you're made of, boy. Show me your imperial arms." As everyone, did ran away and such, as the minister's the only one there with, basically he's like, "Emperor, we have to leave." He was like, "No, I want to see this fight to the end." As he's like, "What? Why?" He goes, "I have a feeling we need to know our enemy's, strength." And he goes, You're right." Which the minister's thinking, why is he so calm about this? But he is right, though. We need to know how strong this boy really is. He goes, "So you want me to send out my imperial arms, right?" He goes, "Yes." Then he goes, "Alright then, Incursio!" As he screams it out, and basically he says, "Gates of hell! See it?" Well, basically, Leviathan Ocean! And Dragon's Sky Zone. I don't know why, I just saw this Dragon's Sky Zone. Which basically the minister, the emperor, and basically Esdev is shocked, including Budo, as all of a sudden the wind starts to circle around as basically the Curcio came out. As chains wrap around it, strange wrap goes onto it as the wind starts covering it. As all they can see is glowing eyes basically, start to move forward as it's right above Izuku as then it crunches down onto him. And basically from all that wind, they see just basically glowing eyes. As then, when it all disappears, they just see basically a mask basically with like a robe looks like on it, and basically on the side the blade has become something even larger. And it looks like no human could carry it. And basically, he thinks to himself, he's asked the monk, he was like, "What should we call this mode?" And they'll just say, "Well, this mode is really powerful. It's a combination of everything. So we can definitely bring an apocalypse to this world. So how about Horseman, the god of death?" Which he's like, "I like that." So he's like, "Now, Budo, I'm ready for you." Which he's like, Budo's thinking, "This boy, I can sense it. I'll die even if I'm careful." As then he goes, "So, bring it." which then Izuku just looks like he's about to run towards him as Budo says, I have to activate my trump card. So he basically makes that big giant ball of lightning, and then right when he launches it, Zuko runs. He disappears, but they just see the lightning gets cut and Zuko's there. But all of a sudden, it all goes onto his blade, and then he goes, "Take this, a lightning blade of the dragonly heaven!" And he just slashes at Budo, and he gets sent flying all the way out of the arena into another building. As then he just, he looks at the minister and the emperor. He goes, "Be ready. The rebellion's gonna come and take your head." As basically, he looks like he's pointing at the emperor, but the minister can feel it all on him. He's like, "How is that possible?" As then he just starts to, go into the ground. He goes, "Sayonara." And then he's gone. So, the minister is scared, while the emperor is just calm, cool, collected. Esdeath is just shocked how powerful he is. Kuromi, Akami, everyone technically from Night Raid was technically there, just in case, and they saw it, but basically he gets back to their hideout in the capital. So, when they get there as soon as possible, and when he gets back, he goes like, "Whew, okay, hopefully I didn't go overboard on that one, but who knew I could technically use elemental attacks against my opponents when I cut them?" That came in handy. Which Dragon says, "Well, I mean, we did talk to each other and fought each other in the mindscape, so the bond level did go over to 100. It's like, yeah, I had to make sure I was able to survive. But the armor really did like I was a horseman, basically a horseman. Huh. Death. The death god. That makes sense. I wonder if the blade could turn into a scythe." As then he just realized no one was in the hideout until they all came down, and he gets bombarded with questions about like, how do you think that was gonna work and stuff, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada, and it's just like, oh, calm down, guys, calm down. I thought you guys had some little faith in me. Basically, Nejida is saying, "You are the key reason why we were able to get this far with everyone surviving." And Budo says, "I didn't suspect you even to pull that one off. How were you able to use a Cursio's armor and then basically have everything combined to one?" He goes, "Well, since basically Curcio combined it with me, unintentionally, he actually did combine with me on his own. I just used his armor plus his adaptability to enhance then the powers of my already pure arms into the armor, and then it covers it, and, you saw what happens." Where she was like, "That's amazing." So, is everything ready? Which, the actual, basically they're just saying the army will be here soon. Basically, Esdeath is going to ready to take care of the forces. Well, by tomorrow morning, she'll be fighting them. But all the other armies coming facing around. It's good. Budo is probably going to be knocked out for at least a good couple of hours. Made sure I didn't strike him too hard. So, they all nod. Anyways, so basically the emperor is, basically in the throne room is the minister saying, "Oh, we need to basically use the imperial honors passed down for the generation as, yeah." As he says, "I agree with you. We need to." So, basically that big giant, robot fight. It's coming, but it's gonna be different. You'll see. So Elizabeth is doing her thing. Akami and Kuromi don't fight, so basically the rebellion is all ready while outside basically, and the guards were informed by the emperor to let by tomorrow morning, since it's that nighttime, to basically let the rebellion in, help them out to evacuate people as soon as possible, tell them what's happening. Every rebellion needs to help out the civilians of this capital to get out, which. He says, "This is a direct order from your, emperor," which the guards are not gonna, stop it, basically. So, they do. So, right when the whole entire battle commences, with the rebellion and Nejida's leading the team, basically they were informed about what's gonna happen, which she is shocked by it, and and the guards are saying they're starting to evacuate people. But we just need the rebellion's help for this. Which the rebellion's like, I can't believe it. The Emperor's actually... I guess it really was the minister all along. So basically they're getting out. Asdef is helping out with Jaeger. So, but a few Jaeger people are going to be in the, well, palace. And everything from there will go to canon. And so, when basically he gets to the throne room, that will go exactly the same, and Akami will try to kill the minister. But when the minister says, I unleashed a great weapon, as, well, all of a sudden, well, he says, you're right, I will. But, tell me, why did you have Dr. Styles to basically change it where you can use it? When she's like, what? He goes, Minister, did you think I did not notice that? When we looked at it, I had a team run diagnostics last night. It seems basically you alone can use it. He's like, how do you? He goes, it's easy. As he's basically on that, like, he was already right next to the minister, but then he basically walks out, as then all of a sudden Zuko uses, Black Whip to wrap around and pull him to him. He goes, I am not gonna die to be used as a puppet and a scapegoat by you, Minister. He's like, you, little, how long? He was like, I convinced him how evil you were, and then he put everything together. You're the reason why this place is so screwed up, and why basically the rebellion happened. He's like, fine then, I'll do it myself. As basically he just summons out the big giant robot. So Zuko gets Leona, and Rune was already out. Well, basically he gets him, the Emperor, and Akami out. He was already in, Accursio's armor. And when they get out, I basically see the big giant, robot. As the Emperor is like, Zuko, there's a weak spot. It's in the stomach area. You'll have to basically strike that to basically make the systems not work and be able to go right through the armor itself. He's like, thanks. This seems to be it, huh? Which Akami and Emperor seeing him as everyone's, basically gathering to him, from Nightbright and Jaeger. And he goes, it's been fun with all of you. It really has. I guess this is where my journey will end with you guys. Which they're like saying, Zuko, Akami's like, Zuko, this isn't the end. You can stay here. He goes, I can't. As they're saying, he's right. He has his own war he's fighting. When he gets back home. And we can't join it no matter how much we want to. Which Kuromi says, that's unfair. Basically, how can you leave us when we care about you? Which Akami and Asif are looking down. He was like, I know. And Leona's not looking she's just looking away too. She's just thinking, I keep forgetting that. Basically. But this is my destiny. This is how it's gonna end. I won't let this place anyone get hurt. I'll punch him so hard. I'll punch that robot so hard in the face. I'll send it flying outside the capital into an area where, no people will be around for miles. And then I'll end it all. I promise you that. And, my king, please, protect everyone here. Protect this empire. Listen to these guys. They're good people. Some of them only care for one thing at a time. As, Budo who comes over, he's like, Emperor, everyone has been evacuated. And he looks, and basically Zuko looks at Budo, he's like, hey, great General Budo. He goes, yes? Don't kill too many innocents. Remember, here's the theme. Find evidence that will prove them guilty. Don't execute them. Put them in a prison. Their sentence will be long then. So, you never know what can happen, right? Which he does not. He was, I will remember those words. Hold on. Alright, so basically, as Dragon, or should I say, Diablo, Lidum, and Hilum all come out of the shadows and says, it is time, Asuku. He's like, right. horsemen, death god armor. Basically, it's everything's starting to form. He goes, say it. And he goes, right. But then Budo says, Zuko, scream with everything you have, with that fiery passion in the depths of your soul. Unleash it all. He's like, gotcha. And so he screams out, Incursio! Basically, as well, when he does this, everything is shot up. A light is shot up into the air. As when, after everyone's not blinded, even by the minister's like, what the? How is that possible? Is that where he is? They could see the armor, basically the cape and the robe and stuff, but all of a sudden the robe turns into wings, and then he takes off the hood and stuff, in which you can see just like a pure armor covering his head, and then basically the sword appears in his hand when it basically says now transform, as it then turns into a scythe. And he flings it over to his left hand. He looks back at everyone. He says, I'll be back, I promise you. So he gets into a jumping position, and then he goes, one for all, full counting, 100%. As all of a sudden the ground underneath his feet is starting to crack, as when he jumps, it makes a big, everything cracks all around it, making a little crater. Everyone is shocked by this. They did not think this would be that powerful. In which the minister's like, what the? As the robot that he's in, the Imperial arms, gets sent flying so far from the captain. He's like, no innocent lives will be lost today, you bastard. And Izuku just disappears from sight. Everyone's saying, we hope you come back alive, Izuku. So, when the minister lands and slides, you see the robot does get up. He's like, ugh, how far are we? And basically, he then just hears Zuko's voice from the robot. He's like, don't worry, this won't be long. I'll basically cut this thing down, make sure you can never use it, you damn bastard. So, the minister goes, this is the great capital's Imperial arms. You think you can beat me? And basically multiple lasers are being shot at. Zuko's just dodging it. And then he basically cuts off the Imperial arms, basically one of his arms off, which he's shot by this. He goes, my blade is a combination of everything. The spear of Curcio, the gauntlets of Hades. Not Hades, the gauntlets of Cerberus, the strings of Leviathan, and the feathers of Dragon. Which he's like, how were you able to take all those Imperial arms into yourself? He was like, oh, you mean half of myself, or actually be a part of me? He was like, use them for yourself. He was like, oh, because I am them. And then all of a sudden, the legs get cut off. He's like, hold on. And basically the big giant Imperial arms falls. And he's like, ugh. Then he goes, I guess this will end it. He goes, Izuku, don't break it. He goes, huh? Why? The Empire, the capital still needs power. That is true. How do I? It was like, use basically a little bit of your magical power. This is a spell you can use that we came up with just for you. And then basically Currency was like, trust me, their idea with this is pretty impressive. He's like, alright then, what do? Raise up your hand and say apocalyptic clock. Doomsday. Basically. He's like, alright. So he basically puts up his hand. He goes, apocalyptic clock. Doomsday. As all of a sudden a clock appears right above them, as the minister's like, what the? As it's basically, it's getting to basically noon. He's like, this will be the end of you. Now die, minister. As all of a sudden, when it hits basically being midnight, 12 o'clock basically, everything starts, there's a big giant light from the middle starts to spread out as it looks like it's destroying everything. But after the minister screams and all, it's just gone. It's just gone. And Zuko basically goes back over to the natural Imperial arms, opens up where the minister is. He sees the minister is near death. Near death. He's like, huh? He's like, we basically had you held back on this one. That was a one-shot kill to anyone. But he has to pay for his crime. Which Leviathan says. He goes, yeah, you're right, Loom. He has to pay. So he basically grabs it, and the Imperial arm just starts flying back. So, when he gets back, he says he's gonna be real quick. He does disappear, grab the actual Imperial arm and leg, and then he basically puts it back together by using the loom to stitch it up, and then basically it's Imperial arm, since it does have what I think was oil or blood. It does technically, I think it was blood, so it does heal it. Basically, the leg and arms back together, and he puts it back where the capital is. As basically he asked, "Where's the minister?" As Zuko then just has him tied up, coming out of the ground. As he basically looks like he's near death. He was like, "Now, we can have him be punished, or." Well, we could do it. I can execute him. Which, well, the Emperor says, what must be done must be done. So, basically, he says, follow me. So, the Emperor and Izuku go while he's trying the minister, and, well, there's like a whole bunch of people. Since the capital is still new, there's like a big giant square, and, well, yeah. So, what happens is, though, he basically is telling everyone who's there to basically, well, that what has the minister has done, and that for his crimes cannot be repaid by just having him go to prison for this great evil he is. He needs to be killed, so that way we may remember to never, ever go down this path he has caused. Which the rebellion leaders are nodding, as basically the one who wanted to kill the Emperor, well, send assassins after him. He's like, I can't believe it. That kid actually did it. And so he looks at Izuku, who's still in the army. He was like, please, horseman, end him. Which he nods with the scythe in hand as the minister, gains some conscience. He's like, you will pay for what you do to me, you little brat. I will cut you down and kill you. As he waits the minister, saying this, he basically only sees the Emperor, and the Emperor basically looks at him and he's like, no, you won't. I thought you were my friend. I listened to you, and yet my people have suffered because of you. You let the wealth become that are corrupted, hurt people that were innocent, that did not deserve to die. Their blood is on my hand and yours. I should have never listened to you, and I hope my parents see you in the afterlife and punish you. Which his eyes went. He goes, how did you know? He's like, I didn't. You just confirmed it. Which anyone who's in the capital, even the rebellion, people aren't, leaders and rebellion people aren't shocked. As then Izuku cuts off the minister's head, clean off. As everyone basically as then everyone was silent. He goes, do not cheer for his execution. Even though he is evil, he is still a human, but a monster. Basically a demon in flesh of a human. We will mourn for him. He will not get a great burial, but just a normal one. That I can promise. So he leaves and such. Izuku's walking off. He basically disappears into an alleyway, coming back out. And then after everyone's leaving and such, including the rebellion leaders are there, they say congratulations on Nejida, and they look at Jaeger, basically Ezra and everyone else, including the Emperor, and they say, Emperor, thank you. He goes, no problem. But I hope we can have a good agreement. At least we'll return the lands that, we have conquered, or at least rebuild whatever tribes that have been slain by us. By my people. I promise. I'll try to be as good as a leader I can and fix everything. Or at least try to repair everything I can. Which they bow to him saying, thank you. Thank you so much. And so, they leave. Then he looks back. He was like, well then, I don't know if we have time to celebrate, but, or not, if you really think about it, where Suzuku, is there, he goes, I don't think so. Which, they all look back and they see him. He's starting to glow. He's like, I came where I needed to do. So, it looks like my time's up. I did my job. Which, everyone's upset. And the Emperor says, Hizuku, you really have been a great friend. One I haven't had ever. Or at least in a while. Thank you. Truly. For showing me what was real. Showing me how my people was suffering. Thank you so much. It's like, no problem. Kami, Esdef, Kuromi, Leona. I'll miss you guys. Which, basically they'll look at Leona, and basically, well, Akami, Kuromi, and, well, Esdef look at her, and she goes, what? I marked him! And basically, they like, wait, you what? He was like, before you guys ever even had a thing for him. So, he goes, yeah, I'm just saying, I'm gonna miss you guys, actually. I'm gonna miss everyone. I just wish I could spend more time. But, come on. Group hug? Group hug? Group hug. So, they all, do that. Everyone's crying. So, he has a few words to everyone, basically. And it's basically like for Akami to get stronger, protect her sister, and for her, same thing to Kuromi, Esdef, to find someone who's better than me, and try to find love again for Leona. Don't do anything too stupid. And mind. Try to see, go out there and help out, basically in the West. Hell, maybe even travel around the country, try to find a boyfriend. Which he goes like, what do you mean? He's like, come on, we both know basically you want to have someone with you. Blah he just says, just tell Nejida. He goes, and Nejida, just don't be dense. Basically for Wave and everyone else, just like be safe, be well, and try to basically protect the king, like the emperor. For Susanoo, he goes, I know you're Imperial Arm, but you've been a very good friend. Even though with this little time I met you. He goes, likewise. But I'm glad we had this chance to talk at least. So basically they both shake hands. And for Chelsea, he was like, yeah, even though you didn't really trust in me, I can tell you really are a good person. So I hope you're able to find someone and or do anything you want to be happy. She goes, thanks. You too. So, well, after he says everything goodbye, he basically looks at, Siru, and he basically goes up and hugs her. He goes, no matter what, always remember, I'm always here. Alright? She does nod, and she says she'll miss him, and he goes, I know. I'm sorry for everything that caused you pain. Besides, basically, he's just still standing and looking at me and goes, we are assassins. We are killers. There's no pretty word to even be said. We all have done things that we don't like, that we needed to do for our country, to protect people, anything. At the end of the day, no one can call us heroes. No one can call us saviors. We are just who we are. Assassins, right? Anyways, though, basically he's trying hard not to cry. He goes like, I really will miss all of you. And then Nejida saying, you always will be a part of Night Raid, Izuku. You always will be part of us in this world. Don't ever forget that. He goes, right. Thanks a lot, everyone. I hope we'll be able to meet at least each other in the next life. And so, Diablo, Heloom, and Lulum come out, and they look down in sadness, basically, as Diablo says, it is time, Izuku. Is it right? Well, everyone, see you around. Hope you all live good lives. If I find out any one of you died early, I'll come back here and kick all your asses in that afterlife, huh? So, basically, they all nod. Everyone's crying. Leone, Akami, Taromi, and Esdif are basically upset and crying. And then, well, basically the light, shoots around Izuku, teleporting back to My Hero Academia. Basically, Izuku has his eyes closed, thinking, alright, cry later. When I get back, I have to defeat all for one, once and for all. That bastard's gonna pay. I'll miss you all. Especially you four. And then basically Cerberus was like, technically since she marked you, you technically were hers. He's like, shut up, Cerberus! He was like, and so what happens is, when Izuku opens up his eyes, he can see light shine, coming off of him. He's like, what the? Why is it so bright? And then when he opens them, he's right in front of UA. He's like, what the? Wait, UA? Wait. As he looks back, the whole entire city is not this, in panic or ruins or, being destroyed or being attacked by, actual villains. He's like, how the? Wait. What the? And then Bakugo bumps into him. He's like, Deku, watch out where you're going. Wait, why even here? I told you. And then Izuku looks at him. He's like, you told me to what? Not come here? Listen here, Bakugo Katsuki. I suggest you shut it. And shut the hell up. Go in there, and wait, what's today? As then he was like, Deku, are you? Basically, he says the date, and he goes, it's the entrance exam. Jeez. He goes, oh, all right, then go in there, get in your seat, and shut the hell up, you angry Pomeranian. He's like, what the? How are you? And he goes, say one thing, you're gonna kill me or send me to hell. I'll put you in your place and put a leash on you. Got it. Izuku was emitting bloodlust towards Bakugo. He's like, right. Sorry, Izuku, as he runs off. He goes, how the hell did I get here? And actually, Diablo, Liloom, and Hulum, basically say, we may have accidentally sent you back in time. And he goes, wait, what? What do you mean you accidentally sent me back in time? And basically all of the users saying, they did. They actually did. Wait, he was like, wait, does that mean I don't have all 1 for 100%? Like, oh no, you do. It's like, wait, seriously? How? He's like, well, since we sent you back in time, we, made sure you had your, the body and the power and the skills you have when you left, our world. It's like, okay, so how are you guys with me still? He was like, basically, Halum says, we basically said we're a part of you, even when we go back to your world. So yeah, and basically, you're welcome for letting you keep everything, and it basically be 100%. Which he's like, okay, now this is gonna be a lot more easy. In which then he hears of, he basically hears one person says, so, you finally arrived here, huh? Hey, Izuku? And when he looks back, he basically sees Esdef. He's like, wait, Esdef? Wait, no, you're probably just a girl that looks like her. She goes, Izuku, do I really have to try to slash at you again? I'm about to ruin another one of your shirts. Now, do I? He's like, okay, only Esdef did that to me. And then basically, one girl with a bag of snacks comes right behind her, from her left side, and another one with black, basically 2 girls with black hair. One has a bag of snacks, and the one who's just eating the meat, basically comes from behind her. One's on the left with the snacks, the other one with the meat on the right. Because wait, Akami? Kuromi? And then all of a sudden he just feels like he's getting grabbed, and then she goes, what's up, missed us? He's like, wait, Leona? How the hell are you 4 here? As then, Lulu basically, Leviathan says, well, since they like you and all, we, may have done something. Basically, Diablo says, well, since they did like you, and you did like them, and technically, Leona, even though you, didn't like her, she did mark you, so by the laws of nature and animal, you technically were her, so we decided to bring them all here with you. And they basically were reborn into this world as babies, and we technically made sure they kept their imperial arms. Which he was like, wait, does that mean? She goes, yep, if you really think about it, I am, well, what's that my little brother's name? Shoto? Todoroki? He's like, wait, little brother? She was like, oh, I'm the second youngest. Basically, Shoto, well, actually, I'm the first young, actually, it's really hard to explain. Basically, she was born 2 minutes before Shoto, so, yeah. And she then says, and this world's been very interesting. I can see, well, the laws being a pain, but it looks like we're here with you. And then Kami goes, yeah, you can't get rid of us that easily, Izuku. And Kuromi says, uh-huh. Basically, our imperial arms had the same frequency as quirks, so no one can basically say we're quirkless. And besides, basically, Akami and Kuromi summon out their swords. Akami says, but my sword isn't the one-hit kill. Basically, it will only emit a toxin that basically will paralyze my opponents, not kill them. He's like, that's good. And then Kuromi says, she can still summon out the dead, but it's from her imagination. They will take the form of. It's like, oh. And then she will say, Leona, he's like, what about you? She goes, oh, still got mine. As basically, she goes, so you can still turn to basically have cat ears and a tail and paws and have a very good regeneration. She goes, uh-huh. He was like, ah. And you're the same as Death. She goes, yep. Still the same old. So, are you ready? He goes, yeah, but first let's go to let's go to Nezu. I am not gonna be a regular hero, I'm gonna be an anti-hero. She goes, how do you know that? If there is one, he was like, well, technically we're just being the hero course, but we do, killing missions. Or we kill, villains if necessary. There's technically a choice if you want to be a villain at the school, which they all said exactly the same. Yeah, but no one ever noticed that. He was like, yeah, why would that on the type of job you want? There was basically hero and everything else, and there was even a choice to be an anti-hero. I chose to be a hero, so yeah, I changed that to be anti-hero. And basically, while Zuko and the girls are walking up, all of a sudden he sees All Might. He goes, All Might? Why are you here? He's like, ha ha, young Midoriya. And see, you came back here in time, that is. He's like, wait, how did you? He goes, in the vestige world. I was watching you the whole entire time, and I must say, I was quite shocking that you were willing to do all the things you did. But after talking to everyone and seeing, and talking to Halum, and Diablo, I can see why they needed you. So, do not worry, you still can be a hero, but I believe you want to become an anti-hero. She goes, yeah, I know I'm probably going to be a disappointment. He's like, not at all. For your skill set, it is, you did change. And I'm basically remarkable situation. She went to another world. All of a sudden, Nezu comes out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh my! I know what you said about this boy, but is it really true?" And then all of a sudden, he basically, instincts kicked in, and he senses three very powerful predators. And then he looks at Izuku. He's like, he goes, "All right, I guess I'll show you." So all of a sudden, he showed Nezu everything. Everything. He does not give a fuck. Legit. So he shows him everything, and he's like, alright then, anti-hero will be, and you four girls already applied to be anti-heroes, but you'll still be a part of Class 1A. Well, he says, no, we still have to take the recommend, doing the whole entire test. He goes, alright. So, he says, good luck to all of you, and, hope you can become great heroes. So, basically, Izuku takes the test, aces it, gets better, and throughout the whole entire My Hero Academia thing, everything just gets so easy. Everyone was killed off by Izuku and the girls, basically, and, that was the end of everything. It was how could they win? he took down like any threat that was gonna come out to be a problem, like that army and such that Toga and Shigaraki and all like the League of Villains would have fought. He took them down, basically, and yeah. So in the end, Izuku becomes the #1 hero. Bakugo was shocked. He said, basically he apologized way earlier. Izuku and him became friends, and well, he basically found out Ayama was the traitor, but he didn't judge him because he was also quirkless. So he just trained Ayama and helped him out. And well, the thing was, how he killed All For One was easy. He had Leviathan consume All For One's quirk and basically made it a part of him. So basically, then he combined One For All and All For One become One For One. Basically, become overpowered in general. So yeah, and that's the end of this series, everyone. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. And yeah, finally ended the series. So Christmas, you can say early Christmas present. Finish the series. So bye, everyone.